Okay, so welcome back. We're going to be completing the Chapter 8 review. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look here. Oops. Now we are going to be reviewing FIFO, LIFO, and moving average here. Okay, so again, here we're going to start on September 5th. Right, number one, since our inventory method is going to be perpetual and it's FIFO. So again, September 5th, we decided to purchase 100 units at $2.25 each on an account with a freight cost of $25. So once again, we're just going to practice the tables. Okay. So we purchased 100 units at $2.25 each on September 5th. So again, skip the cost of goods sold section, 100. Okay. Units at $2.25 with a freight of $25. Okay, so what's my purchase price?
$225.
$225. Yes. Plus my freight,
$250.
$250. Now in this case, because we are looking at FIFO, I need to calculate my cost per item. So what is this one?
$250.
$2.50. So here I'm going to go ahead and move it directly over into my inventory worksheet. So if you like colors, then you can go ahead and do so. But in this case, if I'm going to be transferring over my information exactly how it is in this exact order, you should have no problem locating which batch came first and which batch came last. Okay, so here you go, my first 100 units, and I'm going to go ahead and tally up my totals down below here, just so that I can have an idea of how much items I have available in inventory. And I'm going to go ahead and I'll just do a regular highlighter color, okay, yellow. So this right here, I'm going to go ahead and equal sum this so I know how many goods I have available at all times. So we go, equal sum. Right, we got 100 items at a grand total of $250. Okay. All right, so let's see what happened next. September 10, we end up purchasing another 200 units at $2.50 with a freight of $50. So in this case, purchase price,
500.
good, plus 50.
550.
Okay, so what's my cost per item for this batch of inventory?
$275.
$2.75. So in this case, let's transfer this batch over into my inventory on hand. So now I have 300 units in grand total at a grand total cost of $800. Okay. So let's see what happened next. Okay. Next, on September 15, you end up selling 120 units.
Adam, you're okay.
You sold 120 units on September 15. Okay. So you sold 120 units. Okay. So, using the rules of FIFO, which batch am I going to sell from first?
The first 100.
The first 100. So in this case, I can't do 120. I can only do 100. And what cost is that?
250.
250. So then again, I'm going to do my equal round because I want rounded numbers here. But in this case, they're all rounded numbers, but I just want to be consistent with my formula here. Okay. So
300.
yes. Yeah,
Oh, 250.
Yeah, 250.
I get 300.
300 was, oh yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So 350, so 250. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, 250. Okay, so that was my first 100. How many more do I need to keep selling? In this case,
20.
that means I can get rid of this one. Right? So you need to sell 20 more units, right?
Right.
And I only have one batch of inventory. So what's my current cost?
275.
275. Mm-hmm.
55.
So $55 is correct. So in this case, I can tally up my totals here as well, right? Because in this case, I need to know what's my grand total for selling 120 units, right? Because we talked about this. When you journalize, you're not going to journalize your separate one for your first batch of inventory and journalize the second entry for your second batch of inventory, right? Because they're all going to go to the same account. You're going to do a cost of goods sold, and you're going to do inventory. They're all going to come out the same account, so there's no purpose to have to do two separate entries for two separate batches of inventory. You can if you want to, but then again, that's wasting a lot of space, and that's also not efficient. So you could just add them all up together and just take one total cost of goods sold for the entire 120 units. So in this case, 305 is what I got rid of. Now in this case, I have to update my inventory because I no longer have 200 units. How many do I actually have?
80.
180.
180.
Because you have 200, right?
Yeah.
Minus 20 units. You should have 180 units left. Okay? And because I have my calculations done here immediately, right? If you want to, you can calculate this too. You could take your 550 minus the $55 and you should still get the same answer as 495. Okay? All right, so then on September 18, you sold an additional 50 units. Okay? So September 18, you sold 50 units. So in this case, I only have one batch of inventory. So it's
180.
Mm-hmm. So what is my total cost of goods sold if I sold 50 units at $2.75?
137.50.
137.50. So therefore, let's update my inventory, okay? So if I started out with 180 and I sold 50 units, how much should I have left?
130.
130, giving me a grand total of $357.50, right? Because you take 130 times 275. All right, so let's see what's next. Okay, so then on September 20th, we end up purchasing an additional 300 units at $275 plus of $75 worth of freight. Okay, so there you go. So then we go, 920. We purchased 300 units at $275 and with a freight of $75. So what's my purchase price here?
Okay, watch out.
825.
825 plus 75. 900. Okay, so what's my cost per item for this batch of inventory?
You get a hold of my pump again? No. Well, you got a hold of something.
$2.
You can't, huh?
Okay. Oops.
Okay.
So it's $3. So now we got to add that into my inventory. So you got 300 at $3 will give you $9. So there you go, $900. So now you have a grand total of 430 units available to sell. So then September 25th, you end up selling 250 units. Okay? September 25th, you sold 250 units. Okay? Now, using the rules of FIFO, which batch is going to be sold first?
The 130.
The 130. So in this case, I can't sell 250. I can only sell 130 for the first batch, right? Which we already know is at 275 for a grand total of that. For the grand total of the 357.50, right? So now that I sold that one, I can go ahead and zero this one out too. So how many more do I need to sell out from my third batch of inventory?
120.
120, right? So you could take 250 minus 130, you'll get 120. Excuse me. So you're at 120. What's my cost per item?
$3.
$3. So in this case, how much is going to be my grand total for selling 120 units at $3 each?
360.
Total 360. Okay, so then once again we got to do our tally up our totals here. Okay, so we have a total of 250 units at a total of $717.50. So now let's update my little 300 here. I no longer have 300 because I just sold 120. So how much should I have left?
$180.
I should have 180 left. Okay. 180 times 3 will give you 540. If you take 900, subtract the 360, you should get the same number, right? 540. All right. Last scenario here on September 27, you end up selling another 130 units. So you end up remaining at the end of September a total of 50 units. Okay. So let's see if that's true. So 9/27, we end up selling 130 units. At this point, I only have one batch of inventory, right? Currently at $3. So what's my grand total cost of goods sold if I sold 130 units at $3 each?
390.
$390. Okay. So I gotta update my inventory, right? What's 180 minus 130?
50.
You got 50 units left at $3 each, which is $150. Okay. Good. So let's see what happened next. So it says right here, continue from above. Your inventory method now is perpetual and it's LIFO this time, okay? So this time it says right here on September 30th, you should have a total of 50 units on hand with a total cost of $150, which is true, right?
Yes.
We solved for it, right? We have the last batch that we purchased, which was $3 each item. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to transfer that over into our new inventory worksheet here. So we have a total of 50 units, $3 each, for a total of $150. Okay. And of course, you can have your tally up total right here, so equal sum. So we know how many items we have on hand at all times. So right now we have 50 units at a grand total of $150. Okay. So then of course you can also, if you want to, you can put the date on here. So, you know. Okay. So let's see what happened next. On October 5th, you end up purchasing 100 units at $3.25 each with a freight of $25. Okay. October 5th, 100 units at $3.25 with a freight of $25. Okay. So in this case, what is my grand total purchase price?
$3.25.
325.
$3.25. Okay. Plus my freight.
$3.50.
And because we're using LIFO, I need to know what my cost per item here is.
$3.50.
$3.50. So once again, I'm going to plug that number in here, right? Because now I have 300 more units at $3.50. Okay. Okay. So now I have a total of 150 units at a grand total of $500. Okay. Available to sell. So then October 10, we end up making another purchase of 200 units at $3.50 with a freight of $50. Okay. So 200 at $3.50 with a freight of $50. So in this case, what is my purchase price here?
700.
700 plus 50,
750.
giving me a cost per item of
$3.75.
$3.75. So let's go ahead and add this batch of inventory into our inventory on hand. So now I have a grand total of 350 units to sell at a grand total cost of $12.50. Okay. So let's see what happened next. On October 12th, you end up selling 180 units. Okay? 180 units. Now, since we are using LIFO, which batch am I going to take out from first?
Out of the 200.
Out of the 200. In this case, it's currently at $3.75. So therefore, what is my... Okay, good. $6.75. Okay, so now we got to subtract that out of my inventory. Okay, so 180. So 200 out of 180.
You should 200.
You should have 20 left. Okay, I'm going to do that math in there so you guys know. Was it 200 minus 180? 20 left. Okay, there you go at $75. Okay. So then let's see what happened next. On October 18, we end up selling another 100 units at $10 each. So in this case, let's see how much it cost me to sell 100 of those items on October 18. So 100 items. Okay, so in this case, which batch am I going to dip out from first?
The 20.
The 20 remaining left over, right? Because in this case, you're doing LIFO. You only have 20 left remaining in this batch anyway. So we already know what that's going to cost me, right? It's going to cost me $75. So in this case, now that I have that there, I can go ahead and eliminate that. So which batch of inventory I'm going to dip into next?
100.
The 100. How many I'm going to take from there?
80.
Good, right? So you need to do 80. So this is our calculation here. So to make sure that we know that we are selling a total of 100 units. Okay. So in this case, what is my current cost per item for the second batch?
$350.
It is currently $350. So what is my grand total cost of goods sold if I sold 80 at $3.50?
$280.
$280. So add these up together. So grand total for selling 100 units is going to cost me $355. So once again, we need to update our inventory because I no longer have 100 units anymore. How much do I have?
20.
I have exactly 20. So now after selling that batch of inventory, I only have 70 units left remaining in my inventory. Okay, next one, October 20th. We end up purchasing 300 units at $375 with a freight of $75. Oops, wrong one. There you go. It is October 20th. Okay. We purchased 300 units at $375 with a freight of $75. Purchase price?
$1,125.
Plus 75.
$1,200.
Giving you a cost per item of $4. So I'm going to copy that there. Now remember, I can't just erase my stuff in here because I cell reference. So I'm going to go ahead and add to know that I have a fourth batch of inventory that I purchased. Okay. So now I'm finally at 375 units at a grand total of 1420. Okay. So let's keep going. So let's see what happened next. October 25th, we sold 200 units. So which batch of inventory am I going to take out from now?
The 300.
We're going to take out for the 300 because that was the last thing that I purchased, right? So in this case, right now it's currently priced at $4 or cost at, excuse me, $4 each. So what is 400? What is $4 at times the 200 units that you sold?
800.
You sold a total of $800 worth of inventory. So in this case, I got to update my inventory. So 300 minus 200 should give me
100.
100 left. So now I have 170 units left. Okay. Last but not least, on October 28th, you end up selling 150 units, leaving yourself at a grand total of 20 units at the end of October 31st. Okay. So we sold on October 28th 150. Okay. So how should I do this?
So you can take 100 from the $4 batch.
So we're going to get rid of that 100. at $4, which we know is going to give me
400.
400, so I can get rid of this. Okay.
And then, what was it, 150?
150 was the grand total. Yes, 150.
Okay. So then you would take your remaining 20 from the 350 batch.
All right, since we already know we're going to get rid of all of it. So there it is. So now I have a total of 120. So how many more do I need to take out?
30. So 30 from the $3 batch.
Okay, so what is 30 times $3?
90.
$90. So again, let me go ahead and do my tally up here real quick. So I know how much it's going to cost me to sell all 150 units.
Let me see.
Okay, 150 cost me a grand total of $560. So I gotta update my inventory one more time because I no longer have 50. I have 20, which is true, right? Because it said October 31st, you should have a total of 20 units left at $3. So in this case, I have to carry this over into my next inventory worksheet. Okay.
Yes.
So question 3 says, continue from above. Okay, your inventory method is perpetual, but this time it is moving average. And you were given that on October 31st, you should have a total of 20 units on hand costing $60. So here's my new inventory worksheet for the moving average. Okay. Excuse me. So on October 31st, you should have inventory on hand for the 20 units at $3 each, which gave you, in this case, it was $60, so I need to calculate my average cost here, which was $3. Okay, so I got 20 units at $3 each, costing me a grand total of $60. So let's see what happened first. November 2nd, we end up purchasing 100 units for $3 each with a freight of 25. November 2nd, excuse me. November 2nd, purchase 100 units at $3 each with a freight of 25. So here, what is my, excuse me, what is my purchase price here?
300.
300, okay, plus $25.
325.
Okay, and what do I do with my new batch of inventory if I'm using moving average? I have to, what do I need to constantly calculate?
Your cost per item, your average cost.
Average cost per item. So in this case, we need to know what my total quantity is.
That's 100.
120.
What about my beginning inventory?
120.
120, right? I just purchased the inventory, so how much should my new total cost be?
385.
385. So therefore, my average cost per item is going to be
$3.21.
20, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have a total of 120 units at 3.208333333. Okay. So let's see what's next. Then on November 8th, I end up purchasing another 200 units at $275 with a freight of $50. November 8th, 200 units at $275.
It's $5.50. And 600.
Okay.
Now your total would be 220 and 685. No, 985.
985. So what is my new average cost per item?
$3, 3.078125.
Good. 078,125. And then we can hide this because we don't have this number anymore, right? We purchased inventory, so it increased. So now I have a total of 320 units to sell. Okay. So then November 15, I end up selling 115 units. So if my average cost per item, right, is 3.078125, then what is my grand total cost of goods sold here?
353.98.
$353.98 is correct.
And then you have to subtract your inventory, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So in this case, because I no longer have 320 units, right? Because I sold 115.
Right.
So
Yes.
you should have 205 left. But because we're doing moving average, you also have to calculate what your total cost is.
Yes, babe.
Okay, so
631.02 divided by 205.
631.02, good. 205.
3.07814.
So in this case, you see that it has increased by 20 thousandth of a penny.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Hi, sweetheart.
So let's see what's
what's.
okay. Let's see what's next. Okay, so then now on November 18, you end up selling another 145 units. Another 145 units on November 18. So if my new average cost per item is that 3.078146, what is my grand total cost of goods sold going to be now?
$446.33.
Good. So let's subtract it out. Okay, if I start out with 205 here and I just sold 145, I should have how many left?
60.
You have 60 units left. What's my total cost here if I started out with 631? Go ahead.
184.69.
184.69. So
60. And your new cost is 3.078166
yes, good.
or 67.
Yes. Well, like I said, 6 decimal places should be good enough.
Okay.
All right. Let's see what's next. Then on November 20th, we end up purchasing 300 units at 250 with a freight of 75. So it's dropping in value. So November 20th, 300 units at 250 with a freight of with a freight of 75. So purchase price?
$750 and $825. Dang it. And then your new total would be $360.
Oops.
And $1,009.69. 60. And your new cost is 2.804694.
Yep. So as you can see, it dropped again because the value that we keep purchasing our inventory is also dropping in value as well. Okay. So now I have a grand total of 360 units available to sell. So in this case, right, so on November 25th, we end up selling 75 units. So November 25th, we got 175.
Yes.
Okay. So if my new average cost per item is $2.84694, how much is my grand total cost of goods sold?
$490.82.
Good. So in this case, let's subtract it out. Okay. 360 minus 140. Was it 175?
Yeah. Think.
Let me go back. Thought it was 145. Nope, 175 was right. Okay, so in this case, what is 360 minus 175?
185.
And then
82. 518.87.
518.87. So then, what is my new average cost per item?
2.804702.
Okay, so now we're at 702. 7 zeros of 3.
3.
Okay. Okay. So then let's see. Last but not least, we end up selling on November 28, 125 units, leaving a total of 60 units left behind. So 125 at 160. Leaving 60 units behind. Okay, so again, 1128. We sold 125, was it? 125? Let's see, go back. Yeah, 125, leaving 60 units left remaining. So if 125 and the new average cost per item is that 2.804703, what is my total cost?
$350.59.
Good. So let's subtract it out. Do I get a remainder of 60 units?
Yes.
Yes, you do. At a total cost of what?
$116.28. 68.28.
Okay. Making sure my number is correct. Okay, good. Leaving you to have a new average cost per item to be
2.804667.
okay. Awesome. All right. So there we have it. All three methods. So again, using FIFO, we got rid of our first batches first, and we ended leaving remainder our last batch that we purchased, okay? And then we took a look at LIFO, where we ended with our beginning inventory, right? So every purchase that we made, we end up selling them, okay? And then of course our average, we didn't care. We just meshed them all together, and we once again, every purchase that we made, we just combined the numbers together. So if you remember your quantity, right? You meshed them together. So in this case, right, we started with 20, then we increase, then we decrease, increase, decrease, increase, decrease. So in this case, that is all 3 costing methods. Now in real life, you will never ever do this. You will never start off with one method, then the next month you do the next method, and then the next month you do the next method, right? Because that's where your numbers are all inconsistent. Try doing this on your own. Do the whole entire scenario using one method and compare and contrast. Which results will give you the better results? Because at the end of the day, if you mix and match your inventory, right, you're not going to have some kind of consistent format or a consistent number that you can rely on, right? So that is one thing that we have to remember, right? Our financial statements have to be consistent. So that means we need to find some kind of way to measure our profitability accurately. Well, how do you do that? By picking one method and sticking it through here in, for example, inventory. Inventory is very important when you do that, okay? All right, any questions in regards to chapter 8?
No.
No?